So I finally watched Morbius to see if it's really as bad as everyone says it is, and oh my god, it's even worse! Now, I'll admit, the VFX when he gets transformed into a vampire are pretty good, but Jared Leto does these weird, grunts when he's about to transform.
You don't want to see me when I'm hungry.
And his whole vampire persona is just ridiculous. At one point, Morbius is just running through a hallway, gleefully clawing everyone in sight, and the villain has this extremely uncomfortable dance sequence.
Put my best up, put my 10 to 10, or put my spend to spend, have sex, excel, put my hands yes.
Now in the trailer, there was actually a halfway decent joke where Morbius is like,
I know. I'm just kidding, it's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
But in the movie, they cut out the second part of that, so it's implied that Morbius is actually Venom.
I am Venom. You can go now.
So these are some of the worst music videos by really famous artists, starting with Miley Cyrus's Do It. This one's so bad they turned off the comments on YouTube. I don't know what the creative process was here. Actually, I think I might. But it's just a close-up of Miley Cyrus's lips grossly spitting out glitter for 4 minutes straight. Next is Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello's I Know What You Did Last Summer. I actually like this song, but the music video is just atrocious. The whole thing is just Shawn and Camila vaguely walking towards each other, but you don't even have to look close to realize that they're just walking on treadmills. There's absolutely no attempt to try and hide it.
I know what you did last summer, tell me where you've been.
And finally, Misery by Maroon 5, which ironically is the exact feeling I get watching this video. Oh, God, what's she gonna do next? Bite his ear off? So none of the Spider-Man movies are on any streaming service in the US, so instead I watched this knockoff Ant Boy, where a 12-year-old gets bit by an ant, and, well...
You're such a pathetic little weakling.
Now, you might think this is a knockoff of Ant-Man, but the kid has the same origin story as Spider-Man and an effects budget of $20. Now, he actually does have one original power, but unfortunately, it's magic urine. So it's not the greatest movie, but with NordVPN, you can watch the real Spider-Man movies and so much more on streaming just by switching your country to like the UK. It's really easy to sign up for just a couple bucks a month by clicking the link in my bio. So I just watched this animated Titanic movie with a happy ending.
A lot of people died, huh?
Well, youngster, the truth of the matter is that those missing persons were never really missing. It's all a misunderstanding.
Oh, really?
There's room for everyone!
So not only does this movie deny the deaths of 1,500 people, but in the climax, the Titanic doesn't hit an iceberg. This octopus with a dog snout throws one at the ship, and it's up to the mice to save everyone.
Oh, the telegraph! Oh my goodness, we cut the wire!
That's against every rule of the Sea Mouse Maritime Union! No one but condemning president!
Believe it or not, there's both a sequel and a ripoff of this knockoff. But you're better off just using NordVPN to unlock the real Titanic movie, or literally any other movie Netflix is hiding from your country simply by changing your location in the app. It's really easy to sign up for just a couple bucks a month by clicking the link in my bio. So I watched this knockoff Kung Fu Panda movie, and I can assure you that you've never seen anything like this.
He is big and round, and black and white.
Huh? Oh no, that's not me.
Well, he may not think he's big, round, black and white, but he certainly is a family man.
He just said, your grandpa's a fool.
What? No one insults Grandpa except Grandma!
Family matters aside, why on earth are the pig's ears like 3 feet of meat? Surely things can't get any weirder than that.
How are you?
How do you think I am? Awful!
Right.
I love the voice acting there. It's incredible that they got notable people to be in this movie, but luckily I found out the real Kung Fu Panda is now on Netflix using the Gatsby app, which shows you every option of where you can stream any movie or TV show. It's really helpful to find what you want to watch, and you can download it at the link in my bio. So I just watched this knockoff of the movie Cars, Little Cars, and it's really bad.
Mr. V, I bet on the race with your money.
What?
Nope.
There's a lot of characters in this movie, but none stand out more than Lugnut.
I'm not good enough. What are you talking about? Good enough? Are you kidding?
He's like a cross between Fillmore and Mater, but for some reason they gave him an original song in the movie.
Ooh, money. Money changes everything. Money changes everything. If you happen to be rich too. Money, 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 money. Ooh, money.
Believe it or not, this thing has 7 sequels, and none of the cars in them are little. Let's talk about what very well may be the greatest movie ever made. This totally not a knockoff of Cars 2, The Autobots.
Talk show.
So, what makes this a cinematic masterpiece? Well, there's the Academy Award-worthy visual effects, profound character development, I feel like we shouldn't be seeing that. So I watched this dollar store Hercule movie, and somehow it had more action than the Disney version. After such a realistic fight as that, Hercules goes to visit the king.
What are you doing, Coprius? Get off the floor!
Yes, Your Majesty. Sorry, Your Majesty.
Hercules is here! Straighten my robe, Coprius.
I highly doubt that Hercules cares if your robe has a couple wrinkles, but he sends him on a quest that leads to some frightening encounters. And it ends with a victory so heroic that the crowd is just a really bad painting and there's literally no animation. I just watched the worst Halloween movie ever. It's called The Dog Who Saved Halloween, and it's pure chaos.
Thunder!
Zeus! Come on, Zeus! Zeus!
Watch out! Cover your head! I can't look.
George, is that you?
Zeus!
The movie does have some notable stars, like Kevin James, his brother, and some unforgettable acting.
No, not Mr. Weagle. No, don't. Whoops.
Bannister!
It also tries to rip off Home Alone.
This the place, Ted. I bet they have good candy there for Halloween.
Plus, the ending is terrible, and the dog didn't even save Halloween. The only redeeming factor is that Miss Briggs makes a cameo.
Trick or treat!
A little too old to go trick-or-treating, aren't you?
No. I mean, no.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that you are.
No.
I'm gonna call the police. I promise you. Get away from here!
Does she look familiar to you?
So today I watched this knockoff of both A Bug's Life and Ants called An Ant's Life: What Really Goes On in Your Backyard. And apparently, there's a lot going on.
I cannot believe it. Sal's pupating in public. Spin, 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 spin. Sal, wait. You'll get soggy.
So that's Sal, and
He's dead, Barry.
Hey, wait a minute. He's not dead. What?
Get him.
oh, that's Sal. What a goofball. Now, he's great, but this is a movie about the ants, right?
A spider, 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 spider.
So the movie Dune has been out for like 1 week, and there's already a dollar store knockoff, Planet Dune. Denis Villeneuve should be real worried about this one.
One of our own is stranded and I'm going in as backup.
I think she looked down at the script mid-sentence. And then it ends with one of the worst last lines I've ever heard.
All right, let's get home and save some lives.
Can we at least take a shower first?
We all know The Nightmare Before Christmas, but have you seen the dollar store knockoff?
Miss Selma! How many times must I tell you, Waffle? It's Ms. Selma. Ms.
So instead of Jack Skellington, the leader of Halloween Land is this witch, Ms. Selma. She's definitely not stop-motion animated, and she's barely computer animated.
Christmas?
Christmas preparation takes longer than you'd think. It's the world's biggest, brightest, best holiday, and we've got to make sure every year comes off without a hitch.
Preach!
I'm going to turn Christmas into an amazing new holiday. I will call Witchmas!
This is very worrisome, Rudy.
There's also these horrifying mushrooms.
Good thing you and I are immune to Halloween Land. Yeah, we can sprout anywhere that's moist enough.
And I'm only scratching the surface of how insane this movie is. So I just saw the off-brand Snow White by Jetlag Productions, and let me tell you, you'll feel jet-lagged after watching this movie.
Hip, hip, hooray, another working day.
So, Snow White goes to live with the 7 clones, because they were too lazy to animate 7 different dwarves. And despite the evil queen's active efforts to kill Snow White, they go to work.
One of us should have stayed at home to protect her. Her? Who her?
Who her? You know.
Me no? No.
Not you, her.
Who her?
Snow White, that's who her.
The queen had better not dare to try anything again. If she does, I'll...
So I found this dollar store Beauty and the Beast movie marketed as the version children love, which must be why it opens with a tragic backstory.
They've stolen all our money and run off.
Oh my, are you sure? Our ships, though. We still have our lovely ships.
No.
So that's Benjamin Franklin, Beauty's father, and for some reason, he's in the movie more than his daughter.
Why, that's no magic I smell. That's roast beef.
I think the reason children love this version is because of the great life lessons, such as selling his daughter to the Beast in exchange for his fortune. There goes her father with the Beast's big fortune. He traded beauty for some wealth. And so now she's locked away while her father rides away to buy a massive mansion for himself.
And so, with the gold and jewels the beast gave me, we bought this house and moved back to the city.
So you might have seen the new Cruella movie, but I bet you haven't watched this knockoff of 101 Dalmatians.
Stop! Stop! Give that back immediately! Huh? Thieves! Stop the thieves!
Is there something not in order?
Yeah, that lady's microphone. It sounds horrendous.
These dogs here wanted to steal my gingerbread hearts.
But that's not true. We didn't want to steal them, just to look at them before we buy them. Do you have any money?
We wanted to do a swap.
Swap!
So those two dogs go to jail, and I'm a little confused about their inmate jobs. But luckily, their other friend comes to save them.
Wow, who we have here? A nice little Dalmatian!
Sadly, the Cruella-looking character from the cover never appears, but the movie did come with a digital jigsaw puzzle. So I just watched this movie from the producers who saw Shrek. Well, I guess if you're gonna watch Shrek, the next logical move is to become the producer of Donkey X.
Hold it right there! The only talking donkey I know is a friend of mine who hangs out with some green ogre. I'm a horse. And it's about time the world knew the truth.
Well, the truth is, other than cashing in on Donkey's character design to sell DVDs, the plot really has nothing to do with Shrek. It's just a confusing adaptation of the novel Don Quixote, padded by special appearances from Syndrome, Scar, and Human Shrek. Oh my. It's the crossover of a generation, really, so it's no wonder this movie played at Cannes. So I just watched this knockoff Iron Man movie called Metal Man, and it's just like the Marvel movie, but with cutting-edge technology.
Now, Kyle, when you get inside, you'll see a scrolling message screen over here. That's the way I'll be communicating with you.
Why not just with video? I mean, you have a video feed, don't you?
Yeah, we put all the cutting-edge technology in your suit, so all we had left was a calculator.
How cold is it gonna get in here?
As cold as you can handle.
Have you worked the bugs out yet?
No.
This movie is so unintentionally hilarious that I made a whole YouTube video roasting it, and scenes like this make it worth clicking the link in my bio.
Hit him again! In the face!
So I just watched this knockoff Disney princess movie from your nightmares, The Little Princess School.
All of them go to princess school so they can learn to be beautiful.
I'm sorry, is the whole curriculum of this school to learn how to be beautiful?
Do you know where I can find some mandragora root around here?
What do I get in exchange for telling you what you want to know?
Oh my goodness, men are all the same.
Either you kiss or no mandragora root for you.
Almost every review for this movie is 1 star, and I understand why. Like, this frog is having affairs with 6-year-olds and their teachers. But we can't overlook how well written this next scene is.
You're not gonna believe what I just found! What's this? I'm not sure. I think it's some kind of ergometric bicycle. But then, what do you suppose this isn't the time or place to go to sleep. Oh, hey girls, this is definitely not the time to fall asleep.
Does Cinderella only have one facial expression? So I just watched this dollar store adaptation of Mulan, and I know the story is centuries old, but you've never seen it told quite like this.
This is a tale of one of the most famous heroes of all, Mulan. Born in a small village, there was little indication of what the future held.
So, Mulan is a human caterpillar.
What is it? You won't believe it, I'm in love! Xing Xing, we're in the middle of a war. I know! Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, and the village's enemies are also on the insect spectrum. I really don't understand this movie's bug logic. Like, in what universe are butterflies, rabbits, moles, and turtles all the same size? So if the dollar store Mulan movie where she's a caterpillar wasn't already weird enough, it's also a musical.
For honor, it's more than I can face.
That was great, but the Grammy goes too.
Oh, who's the greatest vermin? The creepiest guy.
Sorry, the Grammy committee just suffered a collective heart attack, so please enjoy this bug battle. Now this movie is called The Secret of Mulan, but the big secret of her becoming a butterfly was a bit anticlimactic because we know that's what happens to caterpillars. I just watched this knockoff of Home Alone with dogs bone alone.
You have to stop them.
Stop them? How? I can't call 911. And we don't have thumbs!
Now, you might think that I added that, but nope, that was actually in the movie.
Come on.
Hey, who wants tiramisu?
Don't touch that, it's hot!
Obviously, this is just copying the booby traps from Home Alone, but with somewhat impressive dog training and increasingly ridiculous special effects.
Worst Christmas ever!
Then at the end, the family gets home and just completely ignores these burglars tied up under their Christmas tree. So the new Jungle Cruise movie just came out, and there's already a knockoff called Jungle Run.
Everyone, hold on!
What is that? We hit something?
I must say, the CGI here is truly unforgettable. And you certainly won't find acting like this in the Disney movie.
I ran outside the RV, but Moreno yelled at me to go back. I saw a Yanami tribesman on the ground, bloodied.
Who's Moreno? My business partner, the one who hired your father.
Yeah? Well, it sounds like your business partner shot one of the locals.
Excuse me? You don't know that.
This place is messed up.
So I just watched this knockoff of The Lion King released 1 week after the Disney movie to cash in on its success.
I'm king of the jungle, and the only one what's fair. Just get out of my way when I do my thing.
They had to have seen a trailer for The Lion King and just rushed out something to compete because nothing in this movie makes sense.
What are those flowers? Orchids, Your Highness. Is this Thursday?
Indeed, it is. Then how come all the calendars say Tuesday?
Quiet, chicken!
Ah yes, everyone's favorite talking bird, the chicken.
Excuse me, Miss Leonette, but the king up there, he'd like to marry you.
I wouldn't marry him if he were the last lion on Earth.
Prenuptial jitters. Everybody gets them.
Talk about the worst mother ever.
I will marry only for love.
Love comes later.
And of course, they end up a married couple. I found this dollar store Pinocchio movie that says the version children love, so how bad could it be? That face could totally be a meme.
Huh? Oh no, I haven't given him a name. How can I go to him when it doesn't even have a name?
So the puppet this guy carved from a single log came to life when he was asleep, and his biggest concern is that he doesn't have a name?
I'm going straight. Where do you think you're going, Sonny?
First Pinocchio flubbed his line, now this lady has the strangest accent I've ever heard.
Where's your money, sweet cakes? My papa had to sell his coat just to buy my book, and now I don't have anything. Take a seat, shorty.
So I just watched this religious knockoff of High School Musical, Sunday School Musical.
From the fount of every blessing, from the fount of every blessing, come to sing thy words, to teach me some.
The movie actually opens with a full minute of static, but it doesn't take long for things to heat up.
Order of mitosis.
Interface?
I love how they cut away from the only exciting moment in the movie to show this girl studying for a biology exam that isn't even at Sunday school.
If you ever get overwhelmed, you can do what your mother used to do. Simply put a piece of bubblegum in her mouth and she would blow a big bubble.
I didn't know she did that.
Yeah, she did that.
I'm pretty sure they're improvising this whole movie. So a lot of you commented about how uncomfortable this scene in the religious High School Musical knockoff was.
Are you ready, Savannah?
But we can't ignore how well acted this next part is.
How's it going?
It's going.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
Oh, okay. Good.
Now that I think about it, the central theme of this movie is awkwardness.
The Bellevue Boys Choir will be unable to make it today due to a food poisoning incident involving egg salad. Nothing like this has ever happened before.
Then my favorite reaction is this old lady who's just not having it.
Let's all just hang tight for a few minutes. Oh.
So you might have seen the Disney movie Tangled, but I just watched the dollar store version, Tangled Up.
Cheerio.
So this guy barges in uninvited, but 20 seconds later, they're in love. So it's a great message for all the kids watching. If you couldn't tell by the animation style, this is just some random Rapunzel cartoon repackaged like the Disney movie to fool your grandma into buying it. But nonetheless, it's really bad. Okay, first she's born without pupils, and now her hair goes from blonde to gray in 1 second. So I watched the new Home Alone reboot on Disney Plus, and it's just like the original, but worse. I don't know why, but they made the criminals sympathetic, which takes all of the joy out of his hijinks because you just feel bad for them. Then whenever the movie starts to drag, they shove in a scene just straight up copied from the original to distract you with nostalgia.
I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
The slogan for this movie is holiday classics were meant to be broken, and I don't know if that's actually true. You know the movie Hotel Transylvania? You have to see this dollar store knockoff I found, Haunted Transylvania. What is happening?
What a night track for creepy crawling and nightmares. Ah, so true, you two.
From there, it just gets weirder with these uncomfortable dance sequences.
Halloween, Halloween, spooky, kooky Halloween.
Maybe I'm not the target audience for this, but who is? So I watched this terrifying knockoff of Alice in Wonderland full of messages every parent wants their kid to hear.
Alice was tired of having nothing to do, while her sister was busy reading a book that didn't have any pictures in it.
What good is a book without pictures?
Stupid Land!
Oh dear, I shall be too late.
Too late for what?
Then Princess Peach, Alice, follows the rabbit down a hole.
Oh, I must be getting near the center of the earth. At least to Australia.
So she missed geography class, but Alice gets a royal greeting in Wonderland.
What's your name? My name is Alice. I'm just a visitor.
Off with her head! She is only a child.
So true.
What a nice lady. So one of my favorite things about the off-brand Alice in Wonderland is this low-budget musical sequence about the letter M.
The letter M?
M is for mousetrap,
which catches the mouse.
M is for mammoth,
big as a house.
M is for
Magically, she gets out of there and meets characters we all know and love, like
Cheshire Puss.
Well, I don't like the look of it at all. However, it may kiss my hand if it likes. I'd rather not. Off with his head!
There's also the much friendlier rabbit. I just love how he bounces.
It's a very fine day, don't you think?
Very. Except that the Queen is so dreadfully fond of beheading people, it's a wonder there's anyone left at all.
Hush!
Was that the right instrument for those sounds? So I just watched the dollar store version of The Wizard of Oz, and I'm not sure this is what L. Frank Baum had in mind.
Good witch, my little dog and I are lost. We were in a terrible storm. We just want to get home.
And things between them escalate quickly. God, could this movie get any weirder?
Oh no! It's the Kalidas!
Lions and tigers and Kalidas, oh my!
There it is. It's the Emerald City.
Why is this taking so long? That was almost as anticlimactic as when Dorothy lost Toto in the Cyclone. So I just watched this knockoff Finding Nemo movie, Izzy's Way Home, and it has the same basic premise.
It's alive!
Just a whole lot worse.
Isabel, what are you doing? Do you have any fish sense?
I don't care! Besides, Mom's out there!
Your mother is gone!
I love how they don't even bother to line up the mouth movements.
Isabel! You're Isabel! Swim! Swim! Swim!
Now somehow this movie stars notable people who probably thought they were signing up for the next big animated hit, but then it turned out like this. So I just watched the dollar store version of Sleeping Beauty, and I must say, they've really mastered the art of matching the princess's singing to her lip movements.
Beauty that's deeper than skin, not just on the outside, but also within.
It seems like for this movie, the animators were going for realism.
The third fairy was called Grace, who when flying was often mistaken for a butterfly because her movements were so effortless.
Wow, look, it's a butterfly.
Can it be that a girl of fine breeding like yourself has never learned how clothing is made?
Oh! Oh, my!
Calling all princes, can one of you come and save Sleeping Beauty so we can wrap up this movie?
You must fight this magic with a magic of your own!
But I have no magic.
Well then, get some, silly boy!
Where?
At the bottom of the bottomless pit.
If it's a bottomless pit, then there isn't a bottom. It turns out the only magic he really needed was a romantic kiss.
Who are you?
I found out Netflix doesn't have Coraline in the US, so instead I watched the knockoff version, Caroline, and it's unforgettable.
Caroline, will you give me a foot massage? Okay. Oh, Nanny Ann, your granddaughter's a great healer.
The fake stop-motion animation is bad, but the voice acting is even worse.
I love this eco spray, especially because I stole it. Ha ha ha!
Now, in retrospect, I should have just used NordVPN, because you can literally change your country to like Canada and watch the real Coraline plus everything else Netflix is hiding. It's really easy to sign up for just a couple bucks a month by clicking the link in my bio. Do you remember the disgraced Halloween Town sequel? You know, where Marnie's been recast and Debbie Reynolds appears via soup pot to deliver ambiguous messages.
Oh, Marnie, congratulations.
It's full of awkward dialogue.
I'm staying.
That's funny, because it just sounded like you said you're staying.
I'm a student.
Where?
Here.
That's funny, because it just sounded like you said here.
And they clearly filmed the Halloween Town scenes in a different place that doesn't even resemble the original. And it was retconned to have this massive witch university, so Marnie can spend time with Ryan from High School Musical.
Hey.
Hey.
You two know each other.
So one of my favorite knockoff movies is The Lion and the King. This version opens with some thrilling dialogue.
You remember the Black Panther, and it was the animals.
I love that when the actors flub their lines, they don't bother to go back and fix it. Anyways.
You can't get into that cave, it goes straight down.
Robin, meow meow, are you dead?
And as you can imagine, that didn't go over so well with the king.
You were supposed to watch him so that he doesn't get up to any nonsense. Bring him back.
It's not so simple as that. After all, I'm not the youngest one.
And you'd never find an exchange like this one in the original.
It's already 2 o'clock.
That's not true. It's 3.5 minutes to 2.
So I watched this knockoff Aladdin movie. You know, the one advertised to have never played in theaters like that's a good thing.
The name of the child you seek is Aladdin. And now I should tell you where he lives.
Aladdin lives with his mom, who selflessly thinks of her son after coming into some money.
Riches such as this could get my son a wife.
What lucky woman does she want to purchase?
My wish is that my son, Aladdin, marry your daughter, Princess Layla.
Now, in Disney's Aladdin, Jasmine is not impressed by the riches. But in this version...
As you requested, Sultan, 80 chests of jewels.
Father, who is this man?
And before even saying one sentence to each other, they get married. So I just watched the dollar store knockoff of Frozen, the Ice Princess, somehow starring Mackenzie Ziegler.
I am a god,
So that's this movie's talking snowman, and sometimes he's a god, but other times...
I am the devil in white.
No. But my favorite thing about him is the way he walks. Eventually, the princess steals his eyes, so he goes blind and falls off a cliff. Then to celebrate, she falls in love with a dragon. So I just finished the knockoff Princess and the Frog, and while the DVD cover is suspiciously similar to the Disney version, the movie itself most certainly is not.
Wow, what a beautiful shell. But there's really nothing special about it.
So the princess is single and has to get married in 24 hours, but luckily her father has a solution.
The Prime Minister has offered to marry you.
He is a clumsy old man who has horribly bad breath. Other than that, he's quite a treat.
Then he shows up and delivers a powerful message for all the children watching.
To be with me, a woman must know her way around a kitchen. Women should know how to cook and clean.
The princess does, however, meet another eligible bachelor who offers her a kiss.
You're funny. That's so silly.
And naturally, they get engaged.
I thought I was going to marry the skinny girl, but she already has a green fiancé.
So I just watched the knockoff Cinderella, and I have to say, it's unforgettable.
There once lived a gentleman whose hard work made him very rich. Not only was he blessed with a loyal and loving wife, but a most attractive daughter.
Could they really not come up with a better way to describe her? Look, at least they're a happy family.
But the rich man had found a second wife.
Oh, come on, I thought you were a gentleman!
The cruel stepsisters immediately took away her bedroom. She had no idea she was sleeping on a straw mat in front of the fireplace.
Wait, she had no idea? Did she look? My bed feels kind of funny tonight. I wonder why.
I'm your fairy godmother.
Watch. What? What's happening? What is going on here?
So the knockoff Cinderella is full of moments Disney would never have the guts to put on screen.
Get him!
Luckily, the prince met Cinderella at the ball, which for some reason was on St. Patrick's Day, but after she fled at midnight, he sang a deeply touching song.
Without her, my heart will never be free, and I don't even know her name.
Then the search began.
The royal prince requests all single ladies. Whomever this slipper shall fit will become the bride of the prince.
Is he gonna be his bride too? And finally, it's shoe time. Oh my god! So I just watched the knockoff Little Mermaid, and I can almost guarantee that if you watch this movie, you will regret it.
Are you sure this guy will marry you?
I think he will.
He'd better marry you!
In the Disney version, Ariel saves Prince Eric. But in this movie, she's too busy having some hurricane playtime next to the shipwreck.
This is fun!
So the fate of the prince is up to Cosgrove.
Your Highness, look out!
Cosgrove! Where are you?
Did Cosgrove really decide to take a nap immediately after the prince was put into danger? Cosgrove, what the f*** are you doing? Now she eventually finds both him and Seahorse Donald Trumps. So after off-brand Ariel rescues the prince in the knockoff Little Mermaid, she heads back to her kingdom and it's guarded by none other than Seahorse Donald Trumps.
Hi, Father. Sorry I'm late.
What? Since her dad's mad, she swims off to the Sea Witch because that's what happened in the Disney movie.
Welcome to my home.
Is it just me, or is that, like, not impressive at all? So she trades her voice for legs, and then Belle shows up with her newly found sisters.
They're hurt. They must be shipwrecked.
Oh, and one of them's green, but they don't acknowledge that because Ariel and the prince get tidied up just in time.
The acrobats have arrived.
Marvelous!
So I just found this knockoff of Toy Story where...
Every night when Ben goes to sleep, his crayons come to life.
The trailer really sells this thing as Toy Story, but with crayons, and that's exactly what the first act of the movie is. But when they run out of things to copy from Andy's room, the crayons travel to a special universe through the crayon box to find a rainbow. And while I applaud the originality, I'm not sure it resonates quite the same as your toys coming to life.
Well, hold up there, you young whippersnappers, always with the hippity-hop music you have now. Why, back in my day, crayons came 4 in a box, and none of these fancy waxes neither. We were mostly made of charcoal and mud.
So I watched the new Cinderella movie, and I went into this with an open mind. So no shade if you enjoyed it, but I'm not sure I did. Look, I really like Idina Menzel, but I watched this whole 2-hour movie, and I still can't figure out if this stepmother was supposed to be evil or not. There were just a lot of strange choices, from the fake piano playing to the shockingly bad cinematography, and just making it a jukebox musical. However, I did actually download the soundtrack, but I think what best sums up this movie is at the end, Cinderella exclaims that she wants to be known as Ella. And then immediately after, a big title card comes up that says Cinderella. So in conclusion, go see Shang-Chi. So I just watched this knockoff of the movie Onward, Homeward.
Have you seen my brother?
Oh. $2 and I'll tell you everything. Nope, haven't seen him.
So he's looking for his brother, Barrel Light Spinner. I wonder how they came up with that name.
Hand me the milk. Hand me the milk.
Now normally, a movie like this holds no place in pop culture, but for some reason, there's all sorts of cakes available with their faces on them. Perfect for your next knockoff birthday party.
How are you gonna be paying?
Discount?
So I found this dollar store knockoff of The Lion King, and its DVD cover is almost the same as the Disney movie, so how bad could it be?
I want to thank you all for coming.
Like we have a choice?
One thing I love about this adaptation is the great family bonding.
I don't care what you call me. Just don't call me Dad.
Where's he going?
Don't think I'm cold, don't think I'm cruel, don't think that I don't care.
Okay, maybe I don't blame the kid for leaving, but he sure could use some parenting.
I wish you were here. Everyone's out to get me. I'm feeling a terrible fear. Will I ever see you again?
So after off-brand Mufasa dies in the knockoff Lion King, he somehow exits the blue crocodile that ate him, then starts feeling pressure to reunite with his son.
You're despicable.
So he goes and finds him, but things fly off the rails pretty fast. Why did he shake his head for so long?
If you look real close, you'll see a bunch of stars shaped like a lion, sort of walking, his nose pointed down.
I see it!
That's Leo.
Wow, it's so convenient that the sky just connects all the constellations for you now. So I just watched this religious knockoff of Finding Nemo, Finding Jesus.
Praise Jesus, Joy! Always and forever, Muggle.
This movie both instills the 10 Commandments and breaks one of them by stealing from Pixar.
Maybe you could help with a little problem we're having.
A problem? Of course!
This is a problem of personal nature. With a dear friend of ours here in the great wide ocean.
Is it Nemo?
Hey, Mr. Sushi.
What are you two Ritora fish doing so far from your reef?
And the worst part is that this thing was financially successful enough that they're releasing a sequel next week. So I watched this knockoff Beauty and the Beast movie, and I know it's a tale as old as time, but you've never seen it told this way. Imagine the Disney movie, but with unforgettable music.
I am as helpless as a star that is falling.
Top-notch voice acting. And scenes so memorable that they last more than 1 second.
Oh my!
Wait, did they forget what movie they were ripping off? I just watched this knockoff of the movie WALL-E, Tiny Robots, and it doesn't make any sense.
Far, far in the distant future, there exists a planet Earth devoid of the human race.
I've installed a new GPS application inside each of you.
So if there's no humans on Earth, then who the hell was that?
There's some new organic energy source that'll supply the fuel for the whole city without the need for factories.
But that doesn't make any sense! New organic who's it what now? What kind of bunk are they giving us?
I don't know, Grandpa.
Now if you thought the dialogue was bad, the action scenes are even worse.
I will tell you all that I know, leader.
Grandpa, no!
Deal with this trespasser immediately!
I just watched this religious ripoff of the Bee movie, Bible Bees. And this one really tested my faith.
Jesus helped us find the Cloverfield.
Ah, yes, little ones. God is always there for you.
This movie is barely even a story. It's just the same 3 scenes of animation over and over again. And even the dialogue is the same as their other religious ripoff, Finding Jesus.
Praise God, Petal. Always and forever, Sonny. Praise Jesus, Joy. Always and forever, Muggle.
Anyways, then we meet the queen of the colony, who looks like B. Marge Simpson.
I'm so disappointed that you two decided to lie to me about your day.
Oh, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to lie, Queen. Honest.
I thought the bee on the right had the worst voice acting I'd ever heard, but somehow this purple bull is even worse.
It's a mooing. Okay, little bees. Long time no see.
I watched the new Pinocchio movie from Lionsgate, and it's even worse than you thought.
My name is Pinocchio.
Mamma mia! A wooden boy!
I'm a boy and I'm alive!
Everything about this movie is just weird. Pinocchio's the size of a grown man, and he never tells a lie in the movie.
Who's there?
It's just me.
Pinocchio, you need to listen to me. I have to tell you something. I don't even like you!
But I must admit, the voice acting is top tier.
You know, what about my dream?
You have a dream?
Yes, Tybalt, I have a special, most treasured dream.
New Lionsgate Pinocchio movie is so bad that TikTok gave my last video about it a sensitive content warning. So please enjoy a slightly modified version of that video.
My name is Pinocchio.
Mamma mia!
and wouldn't buy. I'm a boy and I'm alive!
Everything about this movie is just weird. Pinocchio's the size of a grown man, and he never tells a lie in the movie.
Who's there?
It's just me.
Pinocchio, you need to listen to me. I have to tell you something. I don't even like you.
But I loved her. But I must admit, the voice acting is top tier.
You know, what about my dream?
You have a dream?
Yes, Tybalt, I have a special, most treasured dream.
I just watched this dollar store Peter Pan movie, and in the Disney version, Peter's immaturity comes off as charming.
What did she say?
She says you're a big ugly girl.
But in this movie, for some reason, he's just straight up sinister.
Oh, she's beautiful. She says you're ugly. Oh.
I love how he just walks away like he agrees with Tinkerbell. Anyways, then we meet Captain Hook, who has one of the strangest introductions ever put on screen. And when his big fight with Peter finally begins, the moment things get exciting, it just fades to black. I just watched this knockoff of The Simpsons, the Samsona Says. And even the theme song is a ripoff. So this show was actually made in the country Georgia, and none of the 18 episodes I found had English subtitles. But they did have celebrity cameos, like Brad Pitt. And even President Obama.
Oh, yes.
Who at one point destroys a car with a baseball bat. Anyways, they have the same house, the same family, and no permission to steal any of it.
Snobistria. Brichvo. Stupid.
I just watched this horrifying knockoff of the movie Coco, Dia of the Dead.
If Mama loved us so much, why did she go away?
I knew the day would come when you would ask these questions, Chicky.
You knew Mama was leaving us, and you were okay with it?
See?
So like Coco, this movie's based on Dia de los Muertos. But instead of making an original story about it, the kid enters a talent show in the land of the dead to try and find his lost family member. Does that sound familiar?
There is about one way I know to gain access to your mother's competition, Chicky.
Papa, let's get out of here!
And of course, it's not a knockoff Disney movie without a horrendous rip-off musical number.
When you walk along the cemetery's edge, don't you feel alone and blue?
So there's a new Titanic horror movie coming out, and it doesn't look very good.
110 years after the launch of the original, Titanic 3 will set sail in just a few hours on the same path as her namesake.
Oh my god, look at this ship!
That was like a Pinocchio-level acting performance.
When can I leave to be on my own?
Anyways, then it gets real weird.
What is she doing?
I call on you, you spirits, rise!
I have no idea what's happening, but I do love that every shot of the ship looks like it's ripped straight out of the classic Titanic movie with like stock green screen party footage added on top. I think Titanic is a great movie. In fact, it's probably the best thing you can watch before going on a cruise. The first half gets you excited to go on a beautiful ship, and the second half shows you what not to do if it starts to sink. Unfortunately, the same can't be said about Titanic 666, a film where the victims of the tragedy come back to life and haunt influencers on a cruise to the Atlantic. Of course, there's no reason for them to question why a corpse is giving a musical performance, but it's 2022, so there's representation for every type in this story.
This is Titanic 3. We have cosplayers on board, we have mediums, relatives, and as you know, priceless relics from the original Titanic disaster.
So there's already several red flags here. First off, what relative thinks, "Hi, my name is Matthew, and my great-grandfather died sailing this exact voyage on an identical ship, so I think it'd be a great idea for me to do the same thing." And really, Titanic 3? Won't they ever learn that sailing this vessel down the Atlantic is just not a good idea? Also, they never acknowledge a second Titanic, but I have to assume this is some sort of loose sequel to the movie Titanic 2, which was another low-budget disaster from the same production company that you don't actually have to see to guess how it ends. So now, despite the fact that the last two Titanics took the same route and both hit icebergs, they're doing it all again. I just watched this dollar store knockoff of Harry Potter, The Mystical Adventures of Billy Owens, and it's so bad.
I trust that you're finding everything you need.
It's a magic wand. How much?
Well, normally that would be $15, but we have a 30% discount today, and I took my 15 there and my 30% birthday discount. And
this movie has everything from questionably animated dragons to insane wizard battles where you can see papers hitting a green screen.
Your soul was lost in the river!
Hope shall be.
And while Harry Potter must ultimately face Lord Voldemort, Billy Owens must overcome his fear of the number 11.
Today, Billy just didn't feel like himself. Billy was born on November 11th. So maybe turning 11 on the 11th day of the 11th month was just too many 11s for anyone to handle.
This is the ugliest animated movie. It's called Wolf Tracer's Dinosaur Island, and it's a ripoff of Jurassic Park. I normally wouldn't watch something this bad, but it stars Mark Hamill, and I'd do anything for Luke Skywalker.
Come on, we can hide in here.
No, this way.
So this movie is presented in puppet tech. I don't know what that is, but I'm guessing they thought they were sitting on like some revolutionary technology, and then the faces turned out like they were sculpted in Microsoft Paint.
How did it get here?
I think this whole island exists outside of time.
That still leaves one nagging question. Huh?
It's nice that they put in such compelling dialogue.
Huh?
So these are really famous people who have starred in really bad movies, starting with Scarlett Johansson in My Brother the Pig.
Buenos dias, señor.
¿Dónde va?
Hi, nice to meet you. I love tacos.
Yeah.
So in the movie, it's either stereotypes or low-budget chaos, and there's no in between. Next is Christopher Lloyd in Food Fight, and keep in mind, this movie cost $65 million to make.
May I help you?
You must be Leonard, the manager. I'm your new Brand X representative.
I wasn't expecting any new products.
A corporate picked your store to test the new Brand X detergent with Alexa.
The thing that gets me is it would have been so much easier just to animate them standing like normal people. However, I was surprised by how much this movie tugs at the heartstrings.
Practically addictive.
That was a perfectly good bag of chips.
Survival of the fittest, Leonard.
Never opened. Never enjoyed.
And finally, James Corden in Lesbian Vampire Killers, and somehow it's even worse than you'd expect.
So, you fancy a piece of me then, do ya?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Jesus! I love And the grove
I just watched Addison Rae's new movie on Netflix, and she did a pretty good job, but the best part about it was the product placement. I mean, we had the privilege of seeing Pizza Hut, KFC, Bounty paper towels, Old Navy, Smart Food white cheddar popcorn, Core hydration water, Lucky Charms, Cheerios, ADT home security alarms, EOS skincare products, Mountain Dew soda, Mug root beer, and Pepsi all in the same shot, Stash tea bags, Sun Chips, Lay's, Fritos, Doritos, Go Smile Pro luxury toothpaste, Sennheiser microphones, Nissan Leaf, Aloe Yoga's head-to-toe glow oil, Animal House vintage clothing, Porto's Bakery, Bonuts, Gatorade and Cheetos, Lila beauty cream blush, Mr. Clean Spray, Maytag microwave ovens, Spiritual gangster clothing, and TikTok. So I had never heard of this, but apparently there was recently an unauthorized Celine Dion biopic, and in the movie, the same actress plays Celine Dion at age 50 and at age 5. The poster frame says, "Must be seen to be believed," and it's absolutely true, because they CGI'd this actress's face onto a child's body. And it'd be bad enough if it were only for 1 or 2 scenes, but it's like that for half the movie until she's an adult. It kind of reminds me of Ben Platt in Dear Evan Hansen, except this actress is nearly 60 playing a kindergartner, a middle schooler, and I think a high schooler. I can't imagine what Celine thinks of this, but she is one of the greatest vocalists out there, so surely they at least got the music right. This is the weirdest superhero movie. It's called The Adventures of Food Boy. It stars Ryan from High School Musical, and his superpower is growing food out of his hands. Now, they clearly didn't want to spend a lot of money on the visual effects, so what they'll do is cut away for a second, and then the bathroom will suddenly be filled with like an unbelievable amount of bread. And he also squirts mustard from his wrists.
Principal's office now!
So it turns out this is like some magical gift in his family passed down from generation to generation, starting with the cavemen, and then this Egyptian pharaoh who used the gift to invent rice and beans.
You're kidding, right?
Oh, almost all innovative foods were actually first created with the gift.
But when his grandma decided to train him, they again didn't want to actually animate his superpower, so he's obviously just clenching the food with his palm and then dropping it. But then they just give up entirely with the hands and start jump cutting to foods already on the plates. Now, my favorite part is when Food Boy goes to golf practice and can't quite control himself in front of the coach.
We should be fine.
This kind of crap might be funny in an assembly, but I don't think it's very funny here.
That was just a snack.
One of the most insane movies ever made is The Cat in the Hat.
Cat, your tail.
Son of a bitch!
Dr. Seuss's widow thought it was so bad that she shut down production on the sequel, but to me it strikes the perfect balance of undeniably entertaining and a little bit disturbing.
Who is this?
That's my mom.
Now, this is certainly not a faithful adaptation of the book. Like, at one point, the cat performs in drag. Paris Hilton also shows up, because at this point, why not? And there's also a beloved babysitter in this movie.
Hi, Mrs. Kwan. Hi.
Naturally, she ends up becoming a theme park ride vehicle in a scene that only exists so that the cat can do product placements.
It's like a ride in an amusement park!
You mean like at Universal Studios? Cha-ching.
This animated dog movie is a disaster.
Don't worry, I'll do everything I can to find Pip.
film's called Life's a Jungle, Africa's Most Wanted.
Ooh.
And it takes place along a poorly animated safari. Naturally, the moment things start to get interesting, they cut to a flashback of the dog using the toilets.
Ooh.
And for some reason, eating chocolate. Now, apparently they couldn't find a dog barking sound effect, so instead we hear... But my favorite part is when he sits on an anthill, then dances them off. One of the lowest rated video game movies is the live-action Super Mario Bros.
No woman can resist the charm of a mouse. Ramadan, you can't Spain.
If you couldn't already tell, this Mario's a bit more rough around the edges.
Are you telling us that you can arrest a guy for being a plumber? Get out of here! Get in here!
So during a plumbing job, Mario and Luigi transport from Manhattan to Dino-Hatton, where despite their video game counterparts, most of the non-human characters are human, except of course when they turn into reptiles.
Is Toad? Yes.
Or if they're Yoshi, who's the royal family pet. Now this came out just 2 weeks before Jurassic Park, and it features some animated dinosaur scenes that rival anything in that movie.
You know, it just don't get no better than this.
Yeah.
It's hardly at all like the Nintendo games, but I have to admire how they went all in on reptiles. Horrible animated movie was named to cash in on The Lion King, and you're not prepared for it.
I want them to bring their firstborns to my doorstep and ask if I need any youthful laborers.
That would be considered slave labor. Funneling citizenry into forced labor is problematic. But
what?
That's genius!
I have to assume that the company that made this film really believes in that message, because there's no way that a human being was paid to animate this.
Inside my general store here, you'll find a wide variety of handcrafted top-of-the-line cowboy boots.
Now, the Lion Kid is this town's sheriff, and you can rest assured that he got the job in a completely legitimate way with absolutely no corruption.
You guys need a new sheriff in town.
Hey, do you want to do it?
Me? I don't have any experience.
Who does? You can't get sheriff experience till you become a sheriff.
You're hired.
Woo!
This movie ripped off Avatar, but with ducks. It's called An-Atar, and like Avatar, there's a romantic subplot. But it's not exactly well executed. Now, the film grossed less than $4,000 at the box office, and it's not hard to see why. The ducks use the Avatar technology to cosplay as humans, with varying results. They also made the baffling decision to have some of the ducks speak words, while others just quack with subtitles, which makes it very difficult to get through. At one point, the duck woman lays an egg, and they just bury it. And then she starts sprouting feathers at the full moon like it's a curse, and then turns back into a duck. This bread company made an entire animated movie starring Noah Schnapp to try and sell Hawaiian rolls.
Isn't tonight a full moon? Yes, and it's also Halloween.
Don't you mean Halloween?
I think someone hid this here on purpose.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called product placement.
Aloha! Trick or treat!
Now, this movie tries to mix Hawaiian culture with Halloween, so naturally an African cat answers the door.
That's awesome.
Thank you!
Then of course it hands them unpackaged Hawaiian rolls.
I love these King Hawaiian sweet rolls. They're the best.
For a movie made to advertise bread, you'd think it'd look a little less moldy. But then again...
What is this terror that you speak of?
Pineapple Head.
I let him out. What?
And then it ends with the worst Elvis cover ever made.
The way she moves her hips up to her fingertips, I feel I'm heaven bound.
Oh, that man makes me crazy sometimes.
This movie flopped so hard, it only made $500. It's a furry version of Cinderella, and the evil stepmother is a Wild West outlaw.
Where's my prince?
Some of the strangest character design I've ever seen is in this movie. They seemingly put animal heads on human character models and then called it a day. So the prince is a humanoid dog, yet his mother is a chicken.
I can assure you, my son, that I haven't breathed a word of our journey here to a single living soul.
I'm sorry. You're wonderful.
And then for some reason, they can't get through a single sentence without punching someone.
I fell in love.
You did? Is she here? I want to see her.
With the chair.
And instead of losing her slipper, Cinderella gets her tooth knocked out in a bar fight.
Howdy.
This low-budget horror movie was made by Spirit Halloween, and it's basically a feature-length ad for their stores that pop up every fall.
We're so coming here for our costumes.
Now, for a movie like this, there actually is some compelling dialogue.
What you doing?
Heading out with my friends.
I'm sorry your dad died because of bone cancer.
So these kids decide to sneak into Spirit Halloween for a night, only to be haunted by the spirit of Christopher Lloyd. I'm not quite sure what happened to his character.
I need to find one with hands!
But his spirit follows the kids into a cave we're supposed to believe is under the store.
Holy cow. It's supposed to have been a coal mine or something.
This ripoff of the movie Trolls has horrible animation, even worse dancing, and for some reason, a cameo from Queen Elizabeth on the wall. Now, the ripoff is also called Trolls, but with a Z instead of an S, and it somehow stars the legendary Dick Van Dyke, whose character looks like the melting wax figure of Shrek.
What? What did you say?
Every shot in the film is either way too close.
Trolls are monsters!
We are not. That's not a nice thing to say.
Has half-rendered backgrounds that don't at all mesh with the characters, or sometimes I can't even tell if the troll is twitching or glitching.
I pranked him so hard, he'll never come back.
But surely the dialogue can't be any worse than the animation, right?
I'm more of a hot dog man myself.
What's a hot dog?
You know what? I actually don't know.
This movie ripped off Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and has an identical poster, low-budget Harrison Ford.
Is this it?
I'm not sure.
What is it?
Who are you?
I'm Brody.
And even the director is a ripoff Mark Hamill, but with a C. Yet they found a loophole to try and get away with all of this by naming the film Alan Quatermain and the Spear of Destiny, after the public domain character that originally inspired Indiana Jones.
Alan Quatermain.
Hello, Darius, you old pirate.
Now, one of the villains does have an Oscar-worthy evil laugh. And the other one, I think, has a grandfather.
My grandfather was a genius. They were small fries compared to my grandfather, but my grandfather.
Finish what your grandfather started.
This terrible animated movie ripped off Puss in Boots, but unlike the beloved DreamWorks character,
I am Puss in Boots.
William Shatner gives the worst performance of his career as the cat.
I'm not an ordinary cat. I have boots.
The movie's called Puss in Boots. Not to be confused with Puss in Boots, and it differentiates itself with scenes that end mid-conversation.
It is magnificent.
Are you nuts? An ogre lives there.
Oh. Good night.
Sometimes they don't even bother to write dialogue. But when there are words, they're never the ones you want to hear.
Oh my, look, he's there! And oh, he's in the nude! Oh!
Carabas! My goodness, he is nude.
Oh, totally nude and wet! Oh, it's horrible, horrible.
This movie ripped off SpongeBob, and it's not at all subtle about it.
Bobby Spongy!
It's called SpongeBob in Tehran, and they lifted all of the backgrounds from the original show, then animated over them with their own bootlegs of SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton. Except the characters here are a bit more unhinged. Like, one thing goes wrong, and Mr. Krabs threatens to add more holes to SpongeBob. At one point, they break from the action to go see a showing of the movie Titanic. The animation's not exactly groundbreaking. However, they did manage to add an original character. And apparently there's even a sequel in live action. This insane movie stars Ariana Grande as Snowflake the White Gorilla, a poorly rendered zoo animal unhappy with the color of her fur.
Well, what do you want me to do? I mean, I can't just walk around all white for the rest of my life.
So this is supposedly based on a true story of the world's only albino gorilla, but the writers took some liberties, like when it decides to visit a witch doctor.
What brings you two here? You want to find true love, maybe?
She wants to be black, you moron.
If I were the real Snowflake, I'd be suing for defamation right about now. But this Snowflake is basically Cat Valentine in gorilla form, so none of the messages get through to her brain.
She gave me this potion. It'll make my fur normal.
Oh, Snowflake, please don't change. I like the way you are.
Now, considering how talented Ariana is, you'd think they'd get her to do the music for the movie, but no. Instead, they got Demi Lovato's sister. You remember that horrible Pinocchio movie from earlier this year? You know.
Who's there?
It's just me.
It's been a few months, so now Lionsgate has put out yet another low-budget movie, once again starring Pauly Shore, who played Pinocchio.
Hi, Basil. Did you bring me a new book? Huh?
Howdy.
Except this time, he sings.
Ready or not, 'cause here I come. Out of my way, get under my thumb. I'm gonna live it, up.
The movie's called My Sweet Monster, and here our beloved Pinocchio's grown up to be a creepy mailman with a crush on the king's teenage daughter.
You look even better in real life than in pictures.
That's a very inappropriate thing to say.
So naturally, when the king forces her to marry the mailman, things go exactly according to plan.
Forgive me, sweetie!
Did someone say fire in the hole?
So I just discovered the movie Mean Girls 2, and the first movie's one of my all-time favorites, but this one is one of the worst sequels I've ever seen.
Mandy, oh my god, someone has a better parking space than us.
This is war.
It's like they took everything that worked in the first movie and did the complete opposite.
The plastics are goddesses, and Mandy can, like, ruin you. I wrote one article on school uniforms, and she put strawberries in my yogurt.
Oh no, not strawberries!
Be careful, Joe.
Instead of playing off the unwritten social rules like Regina George, the plastics here are mean, but in the physical sense. Everything's just over the top, pie in the face, and everyone laughs for way too long. It doesn't exactly cause the same kind of humiliation as like a burn book. Then the only cast member who returned is the principal, and this was his role in the movie. There have been a lot of bad movies this year, but these were the ones so terrible that they scarred me for life. First is Pinocchio, A True Story. Every so often in my nightmares, I hear this awful noise Pinocchio moaned on his horse.
I'm just cautious.
Whoa.
Next is this horrifying Celine Dion biopic where the same actress played her at age 50 and at age 5. And as if the CGI wasn't bad enough, they couldn't even get the music right. Then finally, my pick for the worst movie of 2022 makes Morbius seem like a good vampire film, and that's Sharkula. Everything was wrong with this movie. The camera lens was dirty, the visual effects budget was negative, yet for some reason I enjoyed every second. So the worst reviewed movie this year is Top Gunner Danger Zone. It currently has a 1.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and it's a ripoff of Top Gun Maverick.
I'll go ask the flight deck for an update as soon as possible. I want to know as badly as you.
Now, you might have noticed that that was a plane going down and not a fighter jet, because this is really a plane hijacking movie with a few CGI fighter jets thrown in to make you think it's the Tom Cruise movie. But believe it or not, this is also a sequel to Top Gunner, a movie packed with all the action you'd expect from a knockoff Top Gun. That goes on for another 3 minutes. They do eventually chant some words, although I kinda wish they never said them.
Take a jet up in the stream, every pilot's wet dream.
Crazy dollar store movie review. This one's called Thunderpants. It stars Rupert Grint during his Harry Potter days, and it's absolutely insane. It starts out with the most ridiculous birth I've ever seen, and the kid launches out of his mother like 10 feet for no reason. But the first thing he does after being born is fart. For the entire movie. His parents tried putting a bag on his butt, but then it got popped by a pair of scissors and their entire house explodes. So his dad leaves and never comes back. His sister has the worst wig ever put on screen, and everyone at school hates him. Except for one kid, Ronald Weasley.
Daddy didn't care about my problem. Alan had no sense of smell.
Then at school, he ruins an assembly. And the teacher goes absolutely bananas.
You are, without a shadow of a doubt, the foulest little creature to walk the earth. Now get out!
So naturally, he decides to become an astronaut.
Dear Space Center, I want to be a spaceman. But I have a problem. I cannot control my arse.
And to combat that problem, Ronald Weasley invents
Thunderpants.
And it does the job. And somehow he harnesses his fart power to make a flying car. But then Ronald Weasley gets kidnapped, and Fart Boy goes on a world tour with a famous singer who needs him to fart a high note so he can lip sync to it.
It's the boy who is singing the note through his short trousers.
And then, unfortunately, his next fart shakes a spotlight off the ceiling and it hits that guy in the head. And I kid you not, Fart Boy ends up on death row. Then there's a trial.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
But luckily, the US government breaks him out of prison because they got his letter and Fart Boy's gonna be a spaceman. Obviously, this movie is completely bonkers, but I must admit, it's more entertaining than just about anything else on streaming. This is the worst animated movie series. It's called Norm of the North, and it follows this horrible talking polar bear who you're not prepared for.
We need a leader who feels for the Arctic, speaks for the Arctic, and always fights for our home.
I only found out about these movies because their official Twitter account tweeted, "Norm has been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes." But here, he has these knockoff minions that pretty much ruin every scene that they're a part of.
Hey guys, toilet's right there. Help yourselves.
There's somehow been 4 of these abominations, but the latest one is from a writer of Toy Story, so surely at least the writing is good.
Where?
China.
In China?
China.
China?
Am I saying it wrong? China.
This movie is like a fever dream. It's called Lyle Lyle Crocodile, and it stars Shawn Mendes as a CGI alligator. Because that's right, they didn't even animate the correct species.
It's time to tell your father.
Tell me what?
The script is completely insane. Like, one minute, Lyle's Snapchatting on the side of a motorcycle, then he auditions for America's Got Talent.
Take a look at us now.
Then 10 seconds later, he's on trial.
So the crocodile sang. It wasn't even that good.
Naturally, he goes to jail. So the kid comes up with the most logical argument to bail him out.
He's not dangerous. He's a crocodile. Okay, but he's not like that. He wears a scarf.
And of course, Lyle expresses his gratitude in song.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
This dollar store movie stars secret agent Addison Rae as the voice of Spy Cat, and you'll be amazed by how much depth she brought to the character.
This is Marnie, a spoiled house cat with a love for detective shows.
Follow me, detective. You better tell me where you got that bling.
It's so interesting that out of all the actors who could have voiced this super enthusiastic pet detective, they chose someone more interested in doing TikToks in the recording booth than giving a good performance.
Oh no, security door. Haha! Special Agent Marnie Sunshine has almost solved the case.
But to be fair, I don't think that any thought was put into this movie. First off, the cat has hands and eats with a fork. The dialogue makes no sense.
I'm gonna wipe that smile clear off your face.
Tell him, sister!
And I actually had to censor this last scene, but you can probably imagine why it got banned in the UK. Oh. This is the worst Christmas movie. It's called Elf Bowling, and in this story, Santa's a pirate who steals toys.
Before I retire to count me booty, I've a teensy question for yous. Who pooped in a peanut barrel?
The writing in this is just astonishing because every character somehow manages to say and do the worst thing possible.
First, there's Rebel, who's in charge of packaging.
Yo, when the presents need wrapping, I'm the one make that happen. My feet start tapping, my hands keep a-clapping.
Now, there's no way the music can get any worse, right?
Slavery.
Okay, that's enough of that song. But just know it goes downhill from there.
Start making toys!
But it wouldn't be a movie called Elf Bowling if Santa didn't use his elves as bowling pins. One of the lowest rated movies is Zoom Academy for Superheroes. It's kind of like Hogwarts, but for kids with really unusual superpowers.
Check it out. Lark's gonna snap the board in half.
Now, whatever you think is gonna happen next, think again. So this movie stars Tim Allen as the leader of the Academy, and despite Courtney Cox claiming he's the only one with superpowers,
You're the only one who can help us. You're the only superhero left.
he immediately meets a bunch of kids with the worst superpowers ever.
so cool.
And in one of the more bizarre product placements I've seen, Tim Allen steals the UFO from Area 51 and takes the kids through the Wendy's drive-thru.
Is that it?
6 Frosties.
This ripoff of Guardians of the Galaxy is nuts. It's called Guardian of the Universe, and despite having the same poster and font, it doesn't quite have the charm of the original.
Afterwards, I gotta head to a funeral.
Funeral? Whose funeral?
Yours.
The bar's not very high for the visual effects.
There's no escape!
But the bar for the acting is somehow even lower.
I'm here to retrieve the Hornet device. Hand it over quietly, and you boys will live to powder your boss's wig in the morning.
Now, they couldn't afford to animate a fake Rocket Raccoon, so instead there's a puppet goblin.
What are you, like 100? Oh my god!
Whoa! One of the best things about Guardians of the Galaxy is the music, and luckily this has some songs that rival anything in that movie.
Rub his feet and powder his nose.
Remember that Winnie the Pooh horror movie? It's finally out a year later, and it was not worth the wait. The premise is that Pooh is taking personal revenge on Christopher Robin for abandoning him.
Pooh! Come on, Mary, it's them! It's them!
Christopher!
But for some reason, they made this Christopher Robin childhood friends with a giant man bear who looks like he just stumbled drunk out of a Halloween party.
Silly old bear. You're the best bear in all the world.
Clearly this didn't have a Disney-level budget, but they didn't even bother making costumes. The Piglet actor's literally in a black t-shirt and a store-bought mask, and they hide any imperfections by having the worst cinematography ever shown in theaters. Then halfway through, the whole revenge plot goes right out the window, and most of Pooh's victims are random women who have no relation to Christopher Robin. But I do appreciate all of the random strobe lighting in the middle of the 100-acre wood, which is later revealed to be powered by piglets on some sort of bicycle that produces free electricity. This movie ripped off The Princess and the Frog, and very little effort was put into it.
Wow, what a beautiful shell. But there's really nothing special about it.
The writing in this script is just astonishing. The princess somehow manages to contradict everything she says in the same breath.
The Prime Minister has offered to marry you.
He is a clumsy old man who has horribly bad breath. Other than that, he's quite a treat.
And the man in question?
To be with me, a woman must know her way around a kitchen. Women should know how to cook and clean.
Now, the movie is only 38 minutes long, but even then, they had to pad the runtime with excessive laughing.
A kiss? Good one. Imagine that. That's so silly.
However, it does have an excellent fairy tale ending.
I thought I was going to marry the skinny girl, but she already has a green fiancé.
This ripoff of Shrek is a little bit disturbing. It's called Zack, and they try to get away with it through the legal loophole of education.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Unfortunately, this thing is nearly 3 hours long, and it was made by a company notorious for knockoff content, including Willy's Story, which is complete with horrifying bootlegs of Buzz and Woody. But my personal favorite is Zack, because it goes far beyond fake Fiona singing the ABCs off key. Zack periodically shows up, I think, exercising in a field. Maybe he's training for the couple's horribly animated performance outside of a Target store. Now, most of the time, they seem like a happy couple, but every so often, they suddenly burst into heated arguments. And then just as quickly make up via balloon ride. This low-budget animated movie ripped off The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's so bad that it'll give you nightmares.
I'm going to turn Christmas into an amazing new holiday. I will call
Witchmas!
This is very worrisome, Rudy.
If you couldn't already tell, this movie is just the worst. It stars jacked up teeth skeleton.
I've hated Christmas for as long as I can remember.
There's also a knockoff Mike Wazowski and his elf arch enemy.
Christmas?
It's the world's biggest, brightest, best holiday, and we've got to make sure every year comes off without a hitch.
Preach!
And don't even get me started about the talking mushrooms.
Good thing you and I are immune to Halloween land.
Yeah, we can sprout anywhere that's moist enough.
Clearly there's not a lot of story, so instead they padded the runtime with evil laughing. This is one of the worst animated movies. It's called Spider's Web, A Pig's Tale, and it's got bad animation, a rapping pig.
Wherever I go, there's one thing I know. I'll always be true to my barnyard roots.
And a plot so constantly unpredictable that you can't look away.
Hello? What's going on?
Uh-oh. I thought this was gonna be like Charlotte's Web, but instead we meet a snake who uses a cell phone.
Your talents are wasted on these barnyard yokels.
Despite having no arms and no legs, this snake drives the pig to Hollywood to become a movie star.
This trip was a bad idea.
Kids today, they have no manners. I blame video games.
And if you thought that was confusing, the jokes in the movie somehow make even less sense.
No, the dog didn't eat my homework. The homework, it ate the dog. Huh?
So another Little Mermaid movie was just released to compete with the Disney version, and the poster is rumored to have been AI generated, which might explain why she looks so different in the movie. At first I thought the animation wasn't that bad. But it didn't take much for me to change my mind.
Sheldon, now that I'm 15, I can finally go to the surface.
Maria, wait!
And her fish sidekick is even worse.
You're lucky I warned your father, young lady.
Now, I was starting to fall asleep about halfway through, but then suddenly it became a musical. The music's not great. However, the movie more than makes up for it with a plot twist from the Sea Witch.
When Nerissa was first starting out with me, her first whirlpool spell went poorly. It pulled out all my hair.
There have been a lot of rip-off movies this year, but these were the worst ones. Starting with Freddy's Friday, a rip-off of Five Nights at Freddy's, where the budget wasn't high enough for real animatronics, so instead they just put people in suits, which aren't fooling anyone. Except, of course, the dumbest characters in cinema history.
How romantic, baby.
Next is the Asylum's Little Mermaid cash grab, where the poster was rumored to have been AI generated, and the Sea Witch has a plot twist that I still haven't recovered from. But the worst ripoff of 2023 is of a movie where, let's just say, a bear gets into some powdered sugar. Except this time, it's a shark.
Hey, look! Over there! What? I think I saw something in the water. I think it was a shark.
Unlike ripoffs like Transmorphers Mech Beasts, where the knockoff Transformer animals were at least CGI, here I think the shark might literally be made of paper. This movie is one of the worst disasters in cinema history. It's called Food Fight. It took 15 years and $65 million to make, yet it turned out like this.
May I help you?
You must be Leonard, the manager. I'm your new Brand X representative.
I wasn't expecting any new products.
The studio's goal was to become the next Pixar with this film, recruiting stars like Charlie Sheen to voice the dog Detective.
Got milk?
Do I look like the Dairy Queen to you?
But then disaster struck when a thief stole hard drives containing the entire film, and they had to reanimate everything 5 years into production.
No, Larry, I am not buying that for you!
And even after the robbery, they were so confident in Food Fight that actual merch was put in stores, and there were real plans for a Food Fight on Ice live stage show. But the film only grossed $73,000, so we never got to see the California Raisin in the skating rink. This terrible animated movie ripped off The Grinch, but instead of the Dr. Seuss character, this movie stars the Grump who stole Christmas.
This will be the year the fun of a Christmas ends!
But you're not gonna hurt Santa, right?
Of course not! Not too much.
Now, despite what the poster suggests, we never actually see the Grump steal Christmas, because this entire production is just lazy. At one point, there's an accidental line in the script that I'm pretty sure one of the writers meant to text to a friend.
Set the dining room on the table. Prepare a plate of wheeze.
There's also a whole plot thread where the Grump brags about his beard, yet they forgot to animate it.
You should trim your beard, master. Never! I'll let it flow wild and free.
That for some reason at the end they tease a sequel.
I'll be back! This is far from over!
I watched the entire thing and the Grump never even appears. This movie is so bad that they had to release it for free. It's called Sharkula, and it's the story of Count Dracula.
Die, Dracula!
And his very dirty camera lens as he falls off a cliff into the ocean, then passes his spirit onto a shark with bat wings pasted on.
I hate this town, and I hate you, Vladimir.
Sometimes you can see the edges of the puppet, and other times it's a musical shark. Now, if only the acting was as good as the theme song.
The master would rain down the wrath of Hades if he knew the things you say and the things you think in that twisted mind of yours.
This horrible animated movie copied Anna's character design from Frozen, as well as the premise of Harry Potter, to make one of the lamest musicals ever put on screen.
Oh my goodness, here he comes.
Apples are red, the color of money is green.
So Anna attends fake Hogwarts, where they have fake Quidditch, fake Dumbledore, fake Snape, fake Malfoy, and my personal favorite, the fake Weasley twins.
Hey guys, I used to do a rain rhyme back in Apple Valley. Do you want to help me?
Sure, if you think it would work.
I know they're supposed to be twins, but since when does that mean that they have to move and speak in unison? Now, the poster says that it's from the creator of Cars, but the director's only production credit on that movie is additional storyboarding, which might explain why one of the scenes in the movie is literally just pictures of storyboards. This ripoff of Harry Potter is 42 hours long, and it steals everything from the entire franchise with little to no visual effects budget. The show is called Alpha, and it opens with a disclaimer that translates to, any similarities in this story to characters and places are purely coincidental. So it definitely doesn't take place at fake Hogwarts, or have characters equivalent to Harry, Snape, Malfoy, or my personal favorite, Hairless Hagrid.
Hello, Alpha.
So it should come as no surprise that Alpha lives under the stairs, doesn't realize that he's a wizard till he gets invited to magic school, then when his uncle and aunt find out, they rip up the invitation, and then a flock of poorly rendered birds invade their house to drop off hundreds more. And that's not even the whole first episode, there's literally 40 more hours of this. This is not Harry Potter. It's the 42-hour-long ripoff, where the budget wasn't high enough to recreate Diagon Alley, so naturally they just filmed in a fruit market. And fake Harry gets his wand via banana. But inside Hogwarts, they went all out with a questionable CGI sorting hat.
Okay.
And PowerPoint level animations on the doors and moving portraits. But perhaps the best moments come when they try something original, like when fake Hagrid lets out a burp so vile that it literally kills Aunt Petunia. Or when they take the Hogwarts Express to the next level by instead filming that sequence on an actual ride at an amusement park. This movie has the worst CGI ever. It's called Birdemic Shock and Terror. And keep in mind, this actually played in theaters.
Here they come!
You might assume this movie was made bad on purpose to be funny. But no, the director considers himself a serious filmmaker.
It's supposed to be a very serious romantic thriller and shocking and terrifying, just like a $100 million picture.
Which just makes scenes like this even better.
Look at these birds. What the hell he died
Stop,
like
don't touch it. It may be infectious.
Now the only thing worse than the visual effects are all the awkward silences left in the movie.
Well, does the gig pay well?
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's my girl!
One of the worst movies ever is Birdemic Shock and Terror. But earlier this year, the director released a sequel with a budget of
$500,000 US. And I'm in the campaign to raise the money for it.
Now the campaign only raised $596, but you can see every penny on screen. They may not have had the budget to make the birds properly interact with the humans, but surely the humans can interact with each other, right?
Pam, we have to do something about this damn global warming.
Yeah.
Now there's no way it could get more awkward.
Civilization has heated the planet Earth to the point of extinction.
But it culminates with a song about the planet dying, which for some reason the main characters dance to.
The flowers blooming, the oceans rising, the climate's changing, the earth is dying.
This movie ripped off Harry Potter and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, and then made it into an insane musical with dancing portraits, a flexible headmaster, and Quidditch on magic carpets. Complete with a female version of Snape who mutters a curse mid-match. The film is called Abracadabra, and it was written by someone supposedly named J.K. Nirmal. Surely just a coincidence. So fake Harry finds not one, but 2 chocolate bars with golden tickets and gets to attend the
Abracadabra School of Magic,
where he meets his arch enemy, fake Malfoy.
Very bad. Chi.
Bad boy.
Now this was marketed as India's first 3D movie, even though it actually wasn't. However, the effect was less about immersing you in the magic school, and more of an opportunity for 3D product placement.
Camel oil pastels.
This ripoff of Harry Potter lost millions at the box office and features characters such as Singing Hagrid, who feeds fake Harry, Ron, and Hermione invisibility pills so they can enter the Forbidden Forest.
Good evening. Good evening, madam.
The professors at this school are a little more extreme, literally flying their students into the wall. Really, you never know what's gonna happen next. One minute they'll be playing fake Quidditch, and the next fake Malfoy wipes his nose, and Hogwarts turns into a giant dance hall. The film also features bootleg Mickey, Dumbo, and Spider-Man, as well as several unexplained goblins, a ghost, and a purple skull with bat wings, who teases a sequel which was never made. This movie had the lowest budget ever. It's called Velocipaster, and you're probably wondering how they made a dinosaur look this realistic. Clearly, they blew their entire visual effects budget on this one dinosaur to priest shot. So for the rest of the action scenes, you kind of have to imagine what they look like. Now, whatever this movie lacks in visuals, it makes up for with comforting dialogue.
So your parents died, Doug. It's what parents do. They die on you.
But these are professional actors, so they can make anything in the script seem natural. This movie has 0 reviews anywhere on the internet. Its title is misspelled, and one of the actors was dubbed over by AI.
The hell going on here? Are you okay? I mean, no. I mean, like, are you really? Hahaha, all right.
It seems like parts of the script may also have been AI generated.
Think about it. When George Bush and his family, when they were president, definitely George Bush and his family.
There also seems to have been a recurring issue on the set with printer noise.
Who'd have known? The pandemic would have caused so many people to lose their homes.
At one point, we follow the main character to the movie theater where she watches, well... But there is an original song in the film which genuinely is a banger.
Pop that ass like the quarantine was over with. Pop that ass like you ain't gotta wear no mask. Pop that ass like the quarantine was over with. Pop that ass like you ain't gotta wear no mask.
You remember that Mickey Mouse horror movie? It's finally out, and it pretty hilariously opens with the Star Wars title crawl, saying it has nothing to do with Disney, quote, like all caps for real. And the film starts out promising, with this ominous shadow and the Steamboat Willie whistle. But to me, the movie's less scary and more goofy. At one point, it cuts to what's supposed to be like a Disneyland ride, except Mickey traps this guy on the roller coaster, then he just goes around the track on an endless loop. Mickey also has an unconventional origin story. You know how, like, Peter Parker gets bit by a radioactive spider? Well, this guy was watching the Steamboat Willie cartoon when he dropped his water glass onto the projector cord. Then for unexplained reasons, transformed into Mickey Mouse. But it's hard to take him seriously when he seems more scared of his victims than they are of him.